we live? Are we live? Oh, no wonder I can't see. Okay, it says we are, oops, not your banner. Live on YouTube and live on Faceplant. All we need is a studio audience. Yeah, I like this background. My original studio. Not your original studio. No, you don't have a studio. I have a studio. You don't have a studio. Just remember that. Got it? Richard? What do you mean, Richard? Richard who? Richard Cranium. You're not Richard Cranium? Oh, okay. Then you're Dick Head. Oh, whoop, airtime. From the WDWL TV multiplex, with great anticipation, we bring you the pride of this station. The grumpy old man, me, and, the grumpy vulture. Would you like to take a bow? All right. Take a bow. Take a bow. You don't have to look at the camera when you take a bow, you ham. Get back in your spotlight. Look at the camera. There you go. Let me get this out of the way. Yeah, my studio. The one I call my studio. You know, today, I decided to gather up all the backgrounds. Now, I've had them in envelopes all over the place. I filled a carry-on suitcase. You know, one that you put in the overhead on a plane. I filled it. I've got that many of these damn things. And as I was going through it, I was like, oh, I'm going to change the background today. And brought my old studio out. Now what I have to do when I have time, I'm going to have to sort them all. Because they're not all labeled. So what I'm going to have to open them all up. Not to mention, some of them, the standard is 59 by 39. I do have some that are 60. I hate these cameras. 60 by like 43. So I was originally thinking of putting that photography unit up and clipping all the backgrounds to it. And that way I could just flip over. What I'm thinking of doing instead is using that for the green screen. Because I have a green screen. Well, a big giant green piece of material And when I want to use my Prism green screen backgrounds, I could just put that thing up, put the green screen on it, because Prism has a shitload of backgrounds for green screens. And there's several I like. So that's kind of the plan. But I filled that damn carry-on suitcase. I couldn't believe it. I didn't think I had that many. So, and then what I'm going to do one day, get the old iron-in board out and the iron and press them all and then neatly fold them back up, because some of them are folded, there's creases all over. I kind of stretch the background and then clip it on the sides, but sometimes the clips don't hold like today. And right here, you can see one of the folds. And then here, there's another one. If anybody's looking that close. So, I couldn't believe it. I knew I had a lot. I didn't realize I could fill a suitcase with them. And then this one, I really like this background. I really like this one. Looks like a living room. As a matter of fact, back in let me see now. The 80. Early 80s. We had to, the carpeting I had shag carpeting from the 70s, and it was horrendous. So we got new carpeting, and it was cranberry, like this stuff. Now, I don't know if they were east. I know they were west. You ever remember hearing Kronheim's furniture? Well, we went in to Kronheim's furniture, and just happened, they had a couch this color. And my son's mother was like, "Oh, look, it'll match the carpeting." So we ended up with the cranberry couch, and it looked a lot like that couch. Very close. It was ordered, and the people, when it came in, didn't like it. Now, I think basically there was something going on with these people, because they had, oh my God, they had to be like 18 by 24 swatches of material. And they would let you take these home so that you could get a basic idea of your furniture. Well, the salesman said they had these swatches for like a month. And they finally called the people and said, "Hey, bring back our material swatches and let us know what you're going to do." Well, then they ordered this couch. When it came in, it was like, "Oh, we don't like the color." Since it was a special order, we got it for like 50% off. And it looked identical to this couch. Yeah, because ours had two big cushions, like this one. And the back was that diamond pleat. The only difference is ours was a little closer to the floor. It wasn't that high. And it looked great with the new carpeting we had. Oh, God. And it was comfy. And that's another reason I like this background. Because it reminds me of when we had the carpeting put in and had that couch. And then I went to a furniture auction. It was at a warehouse downtown Cleveland. And I found, and I won bidding against a couple people, a Lazy Boy recliner, same color. It was as if it was all meant to be. Of course, the only thing I had left after the divorce was the carpet. But it was unbelievable. I walked into that warehouse and I was looking around. I said to my buddy, I said, look. I said, there's a goddamn Lazy Boy. And it was one of the big Lazy Boys. Like a judge's chair type Lazy Boy. I said, oh, I want to bid on that thing. I said, that'll match the living room perfect. And the bidding started like at $25, and I think I got up to like 150, and the one person, they dropped out. They went 155. I went 165, and they were like, Ugh. So I got it for, with fees and everything, it was like $170. And it was like a $500-600 Lazy Boy. Oh, was it comfy? Oh, God, it was comfy. Because, Lazy Boys, they almost end up reclining like a bed. I would crank back in that thing, and within 5 minutes, it'd be nighty-night time. That's when Lazy Boys were a little better quality. They're not as good anymore. I've looked at them, and it's like, everything's got to get crappy. So, tomorrow's the big day, huh, Kathy? I bet the little one won't sleep tonight. And be like, oh boy, I get to go to school. It was tomorrow, isn't it? I thought you said Thursday. Or was it today? No, I think it was tomorrow. Oh, she went today. Oh, I thought it was tomorrow. Oh, I bet she was happy to be back with her friends. And did she call you after school and give you the rundown of the whole day? I thought so. I thought that was tomorrow. She only lasted 4 hours. Yeah, a little bit. Well, she's got to ease into things. When you're young, you think, whoa. Yeah, a little bit too much. Yeah, a little bit too much. She's going to have to ease into it. Probably 4 hours tomorrow and Friday, too. Yeah, she's going to have to ease into it. She's trying to do too much too fast. But I know how I was at 11 years old. Are you kidding me? Gee, it's not like she went to the Bahamas on vacation. Christ, what has she got to bring in? Her surgery report from the surgeon? Some schools are just unbelievable. Was she doing her work? Oh, I would call the superintendent of schools. Kathy, it's time for you to go into grumpy mode and step in. Turn into grumpy mode and give the superintendent a piece of our minds. Oh, really? Wow. The old brick wall, huh? Well, yeah, school is getting close to being over with. Yeah, but it's not like she wasn't doing her work, right? She was keeping up with her schoolwork, right? So what are they all pissy about? Good, good. Glad to hear it. Good. But if she was keeping up with her work, what are they so pissy? It's not like she sat home and played video games this whole time. Oh, it sounds like an asshole school system. Oh, Jesus. And they're pissy about somebody getting A's and B's? God, I could see if she was a D student. Jesus Christ. Those, oh. Thank God I'm up here in Ohio. I'd be down there assisting you. We'd both get arrested. Oh, unbelievable. It's you're up against a brick wall, Kathy. Deaf ears. At least, in the fall when school goes back, she'll be 100% and well, are they also a certain ethnic persuasion? Gotta watch what we say here. Uh, well, you ain't gonna win. You ain't gonna win. When you got a good old boy network, nah, you're talking to yourself. You ain't gonna get nowhere. And if anything, they're gonna tag her as somebody to keep an eye on. They probably already put a note in about grandma. But good. I'm glad you went in there and kicked some ass, even though it didn't do any good. Oh, well, yep, yep, 100% right. 100% right. Oh, jeez. Everybody in the family getting tagged, huh? Well, you know, all right, you know the system then. You know the system. You're beating a dead horse, unfortunately. God, you would think in this day and age things would be different, but they're worse. Good. Good. Fight to the end. Never give up until you're out of ammunition. And then still fight. Good. That's the way I am. Like I say, when they pulled that shit on me, letting my kid quit school, I went right up the line. I went right up the line. It was the same thing. They didn't really want to hear me. Matter of fact, they threw me out of a school board meeting. They told me, they said, if you don't go with the officers, we're going to drag you out. I said, well, I'm going under protest. And then what I really liked was there like 10 parents that followed me out. They were pissed. They kept saying, let him speak, let him speak. I made my point. Fell on deaf ears. It was too late. He was, already out of school, no diploma. But I was voicing my opinion for the future, letting these parents know what kind of shit they pull behind your back. Yeah, they were in Lakewood too. If they didn't like what you said, they had a red light, green light. If they didn't like what they said, you were allowed 6 minutes. If they didn't like what you said, you'd get the red light. You're done, sir. I only been talking for 3 minutes. You're done, sir. We have other people that would. I told them, I said, hey, shove that red light up your ass. Everybody applauded. That system, huh? Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. You're really fighting the system down there. Yeah, like up here. Although I liked the applause when I told them to shove that red light up their ass. Everybody was like, hey! And then I got thrown out of the school meeting. Made my point. Like I say, 10 people followed me out. Even one of the cops said to me, he says, they wronged you. I said, well, what can I do? The kid's already going out of school, no diploma. Have you heard of this sovereign citizen movement that's going on? These people that, you know, they don't believe in driver's license, registration, insurance. They buy these license plates off of Amazon, you know, private with UCC numbers on it and all this other shit. Kapar, he follows the shit out of these sovereign citizens. Well, then you'll enjoy this. And I, I wish, I don't know if Linda follows Kapar or not. Somebody to clip this. I invented an Ohio sovereign citizen license plate. It says private law enforcement officer, arrest me. There it is. The Ohio version of the sovereign citizen license plate. No UCC numbers, no private property, none of that shit. Just law enforcement officer, arrest me. There it is. Order it through Grumpy. Only $7. I found a website, they make up anything you want. I was like, oh, I'm going to make a sovereign citizen plate. Oh. I just had to do it. I'm not going to dare put it on my car. Whoa. No. But I think it was kind of cool. The Ohio private. And instead of the old UCC code, arrest me. Wasting my money on stuff like this, but I couldn't pass it up. I gave my weed whacker a try today. Holy shit, does that thing, oh. You could cut through small trees with that thing. I only did a little patch just to give it a try. I'm going to have fun clearing all the weeds in the backyard. Matter of fact, Marianne's, I knew it. She's like, where did you get that? I said, Temu. She says, oh, when I get done with my yard work, I'm going to go check them out. I think I'll be seeing one in her garage soon. She's like me. She likes toys like that. After she saw my little mini saw, she bought one. And then when her brother saw it, he bought one. So I figure there'll be two, because I could guarantee if Marianne's brother sees that weed whacker, he'll want one. Did you look into the mini saws yet? What the hell is it? Pay a Lily or whatever the hell the stupid name of that thing is. Pay a waffle, yeah. pay a waffle. Like pay for a waffle. Yeah, I got a story. Talk about government inefficiency and waste of tax dollars. I couldn't believe this. Now, a trucking firm in Grand Forks, North Dakota got a desperate call. A truck and a driver were needed to take a priority shipment of potatoes from Grand Forks, North Dakota to a military depot in Dallas. Okay? So, all their drivers were on routes, so they offered an extra incentive to a retired driver who they knew could basically get these potatoes down to Dallas in a hurry. Legally, but so they load the trailer up. The driver gets them down to Dallas, okay? Whole truckload of fucking potatoes. So, the driver said, "Can I ask where these potatoes are headed?" Thinking that maybe overseas. You know where they were headed? To the military base in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Talk about government inefficiency. Big hurry to ship them down to the military disbursement depot in Dallas, only for the potatoes to go back to the military base in Grand Forks, North Dakota. And we wonder about our government and logistics. I could see that driver go, "I just brought them from there. The military base is like 5 miles from our terminal." I'll never forget when I was managing the Buick body shop at this one dealer. We were repairing a Buick that belonged to the FBI. Now, the FBI in Cleveland was tight on vehicles, so they wanted this car back as soon as possible. It needed a door. The government paid what they called exclusive use to have one door loaded on a 53-foot semi-trailer and shipped to my body shop in Lakewood. One door. We opened the trailer and I was like, one door? The exclusive use was like 3 times the normal shipping rate and would have gotten to my body shop in the same amount of time if it was shipped with our dealer's stock. One door. Three times the cost. And it would have arrived the same time as if our parts department ordered it for stock. I couldn't believe it. So when I read this story, I was like, yep. Nobody bothered to check. The military base was 5 miles. No, load that trailer up, take it to Dallas for the potatoes that come right back. And this shit happens constantly. Constantly. And we never really hear about it. It's all swept under the rug. And then, you know, old Elon Musk is doing away with this department and that department and this department. Well, okay. I agree with some of it. But you don't eliminate a whole department. Get rid of the dead wood. Yeah, he's coming in and just slashing departments. You know, they used to publicize this shit quite a bit. But then, you know, all the news agencies got threatened. And all this shit gets hushed up. I remember what the hell was NPR, National Public Radio. They used to have a daily I think it was a 1 hour program. And the reporter would talk about shit like this every day. And then NPR's federal funding got threatened. And the program disappeared. But yeah, daily he would pick a department like, you know, the Air Force, the waste, you know. God, what was it, last week, 2 weeks ago? They had a $30 million jet fall off an aircraft carrier into the ocean. They forgot to set the brakes and chock the wheels, and there we go. 30 million. Matter of fact, they lost two $30 million jets in 1 week. One fell off, and the second one, I think the tail hook didn't grab, or the cable broke, and the pilot ejected, but the jet went into the ocean. Two $30 million jets in 1 week. But the one that fell off, how do you not remember to set the brakes and chock the wheels? Yeah, they said that, the aircraft carrier was, rocking in the waves. The next thing, oh, fucking jet fell off the edge. $30 million. And two of them in 1 week. And it's like, oops. They would hang me out to dry if I did that. I'm sorry that jet fell overboard, sir. They still haven't got to the bottom as to how it fell off the carrier and nobody noticed until it went off the carrier. Do they park them that close to the edge? Yeah, it's still under investigation. How do you park a $30 million jet and not make sure the brakes are set, the wheels are chocked? I'm sure there's some kind of tie-down cable that holds it to the ship. Nope. They parked it, walked away from it. Oops. And how much more of this shit goes on? How much more of this shit goes on? Daily shit like this goes on. That was like, what was it, last month? That aircraft carrier ran into a cargo ship, or the cargo ship ran into the aircraft carrier. How the hell, in a big giant ocean, do you have an accident with two ships that are like the length of 3 or 4 football fields? How? It still amazes me how these two ships collided. Wasn't nobody with the binoculars going, hey, I think we're getting close to that cargo ship. Oops. I could see in the days of the Titanic, some poor guy up in a goddamn crow's nest, I can't see shit. You have things like radar, sonar, eyes. Nobody paying attention. How do two big goddamn ships collide? Hey, Wyatt, how are you, buddy? I was just talking about last month when I can't remember the name of the aircraft carrier. Not the Washington or Franklin, whatever. Collided with that goddamn cargo ship. How in the world, in a big fucking ocean, nobody paying it? Nobody bothered to look out the window and go, I think we're getting kind of close to that cargo ship. It's not like they were, they're going through the parking lot at Kmart. I it amazes me. You have an aircraft carrier which is the size of a housing development, and a cargo ship that's the size of a housing development in a big ocean. How do these things collide? Yeah, I couldn't think of the name. Yeah, it might have been the Roosevelt. One, but how? Even at night, they said, "Oh, it was dark." Don't they have things like lights, radar, sonar, people with binoculars looking out the windows? I just, I don't understand it. It's not like they're on the freeway at rush hour. They're in a big goddamn ocean. But Wyatt, it's an ocean. We're not talking two rowboats. We're talking an aircraft carrier and a huge cargo ship. Don't they see one another? Isn't anybody paying attention to the radar going, there's a blip over here. We're getting close to this blip. I realize at night, that aircraft carrier isn't fully lit up, but doesn't it have running lights? I know the cargo ship has running lights. Nobody bothers to pay attention. You have this big, huge ocean, and these two big, huge ships collide? I don't understand it. I don't understand how. And same thing when they hit bridges. Yeah, but they have radar, they have sonar, they have, maybe not so much the cargo ship, but goddamn aircraft carriers got the latest and greatest of all kinds of tracking technology. Isn't anybody looking at the screen? What's everybody playing Grand Theft Auto? It amazes me how two things that big can have an accident in the middle of an ocean. I guess someday I'm going to have to talk to Kfar. He actually, I don't know, what drove it. Do you drive an aircraft carrier? Steer an aircraft? He was one of the guys behind the wheel when he was in the Navy. I realize it's not like, in the days of sailboats when you were up on deck with the steering wheel. But isn't anybody watching the screens? Well, I realize that, Wyatt. It's not like I'm driving my Nissan pickup. But even so, you should be able to see that thing for a few miles. Can't take evasive action. Yeah, it doesn't turn on a dime. I know it takes forever. And they don't, it's not like you can step on the brake. But you've got to be able, somebody had to see that on the screen and say, I think we're getting a little close. We need to kind of deviate our route here. I don't know. I was never in the military, let alone the Navy, so. But I would think you would be able to see that thing for several miles on your radar screen. Now, I know a lot of times they run in stealth mode, but the cargo ship can't run in stealth mode. I don't know. I just find it hard to believe two things that big run into each other. Almost as bad as that cargo ship that hit the goddamn bridge. Man, they were lucky. What? How many people got killed? 2, 3? Can you imagine that bridge would have been like at rush hour, bumper to bumper? I mean, it was a disaster the way it was. It's sad that 3, 4 people lost their life, but man, that could have been carloads with 7. But imagine if that bridge would have been bumper to bumper, Wyatt. People, going to work or coming home from work, rush hour traffic. That could have been a hell of a disaster. Luckily, it was at night. I think it was at night. Yeah, because they were doing road work on the bridge. God, and that whole bridge went too, one end to the other. Somebody in that cargo ship wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I knew it was like zero traffic. That bridge was only 47 years old? Wow. Now, I realize when that cargo ship it hit one of the support abutments, I think. But it's scary that there's not more safety features built into bridges. Well, I hope when they build this new one, they build it with some extra safety features. Of course, what they're going to build now is nowhere in comparison to the steel and the cable and everything they used 50 years ago. I saw a thing on YouTube, oh, it's been a while back, about this automatic bridge machine, and they build it in sections as they go. It it was amazing. They're out in the middle of nowhere, and it puts a section down, and they bolt everything in and put the supports, and then it puts another section down and another section. Not like back in the day, one beam at a time. And it's like I was watching after derailment. It's amazing. They bring in big sections of pre-built track and set it down. Boom. Not like back in the day when they laid the ties one by one, and then they one rail and the other rail and hammered it all in. They just bring it in one section. There we go. Oh, yeah, I know, Wyatt. I didn't. The bridge was 2 miles across. Holy shit! I didn't realize it was that big. Yeah, I can see why it's going to take 3 years. Yeah. I'm thinking about, they had to reroute all the traffic now for 3 years. Wait until that bridge gets finished. The stress that it's going to put on any other bridges with the extra traffic and that. Aren't they building, or maybe it's finished already, weren't they building tunnels underneath Boston to alleviate traffic? They were tunneling under the city? Or is that project already done? At least I thought it was Boston. Maybe I'm imagining it, but I could have swore that they were tunneling under Boston. Oh, yeah, you're up. I forgot you're up there. Man, you know all about that bridge then. Wow. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah. The Boston thing is all done. I remember reading about it. I guess maybe when they were starting that project, I was thinking, you're going to tunnel under the city? Although, what is, I can't think of in France, when they dug that tunnel, I can't remember, connected France to England or something. And it was amazing because those machines started at each end. And they were dead on when they met in the middle. The channel, yeah, hey, my chat saves me. The channel. I remember when they filmed the meeting. It was unbelievable. Of course, it's all laser guided and GPS and that. That still amazed me. That was a real feat. And for them to meet, yeah, the old channel. I couldn't think of it. That, I'll tell you what, that was a real feat of engineering. Unbelievable. And they almost didn't do it. It got a lot of opposition. I think from France it got a lot of opposition. I don't know why. But yeah, I remember the documentary when the two boring machines met. Almost like when the two railroad lines met and they drove the Golden Spike, which I'm sure after the ceremony was removed and they put a regular one in. You know, the thing that really, you take a look at things like the pyramids, the Colosseum in Rome, all of the monuments and stuff that the Aztecs built, and they didn't have cranes and bulldozers and I thought it was France that was opposing it. I thought it was. That memory ain't that bad. And now I bet you France is saying, boy, I'm glad they built this. I bring up a topic and my chat is so well informed. It's amazing. I couldn't remember all that shit. Look at that. I get saved. Wyatt saved me with all the pertinent info. Good going, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate it. You know, that's like here in Cleveland. For the longest time, the Terminal Tower was the largest high-rise building in Cleveland. Somewhere, I have pictures. My grandfather helped build that. He was a riveter. And he had pictures of them sitting on them goddamn beams in the middle of nowhere, eating their lunch. Yeah. He was a riveter when they were building the Terminal Tower. And the pictures are amazing of them sitting on them beams 30, 40 stories up like nothing. Yeah, we would, every time we would go down, he would stand and look at that and go, I helped build this. And it was, hopefully I still have the pictures. But yeah, it showed them sitting on them beams because I had asked him many times. I said, "What, you're afraid of falling off?" "Nah." "Okay." And back then, the guys would ride the beams up. They would load them on the ground, step on the beam, hang on the cable. "Okay, Charlie, take her up." Of course, they can't do that no more, do OSHA. Can't go riding the beams no more. Yeah, he told me there was a guy that had the oven that would heat the rivets, and then they would pitch the rivet, and they had a catcher, and then he had to quickly get the rivet in the hole, and then he had a device, and he'd hold that rivet, and my grandfather would be on the other end with the power thing, and he told me some great stories about that building. Matter of fact, it broke its heart when they built the BP building, which was taller. Or is it the Key Bank building? One of them. It was a shame because that was the tallest building in Cleveland for ages. But somebody's always got to build one bigger. All right, Kathy, take care of what you got to take care of. Wyatt, not only old school, we learned things in school. We valued education. It's not like kids today. They could care less. As much as we hated it, we took our education serious. And we learned things. And then we retained that learning. Now, you know, the War 1812 doesn't come up in a daily conversation. And I remember sitting back going, why do we have to learn this shit? But it was history. And we took our learning serious. Where the teachers would beat the shit out of us. Whoa, ow. That's why our generation is the way it is, Wyatt. Because we took our education serious. And where I can't remember things, I appreciate it when my chat keeps me up. Oh, definitely, Wyatt. Definitely. You know, as much as I hated history and social studies and, you know, history, we basically learned how we got to where we were that day. And social studies taught us government. You know, it taught us about democracy and voting and everything like that. Oh, I took mine serious though. And I appreciate the help. I couldn't think of the channel. I was like thinking to myself, what the hell did they call that? Oh, they don't teach shit in school anymore. I don't know what these kids learn, but I asked one kid one day, he was in the store in front of me. I said, "Do you have history and social studies?" And no, we don't. No, we don't. Not. How do you know about how this country became what it was without history, social studies, civics? What are they teaching in school? How to eat your lunch? How to tie your shoes? It's sad. Oh, God. Education is just gone in the sewer. And what ruined it was the old "no child left behind." Just shove them through. He might not know how to write his own name, but shove him through. Yeah, YouTube University. Do you do you ever follow K Farm Wyatt? He does a lot of the stupid sovereign citizen shit. He follows a lot of that. I was showing Kathy. I made up an Ohio sovereign citizen license plate. No UCC numbers, none of that private property, just law enforcement officer, arrest me. There it is. The Ohio version of a sovereign citizen license plate. Kfar's got to see that. He'd love it. Somebody's got to clip this section out and send it to him. The Ohio version of a sovereign citizen license plate. Well, I did this as a joke, but with him following sovereign citizens, I know he would put this up on his channel. And it cost me $7. Yeah, I found a guy on YouTube that makes him $7. Any state you want, anything you want to put on it. You know, as little as our social security checks are, I could think of better things to do with my money, but I did it as a joke. Well, you ought to see something. Well, as a matter of fact, there's two guys that I use. Now, I used a different guy for this one. I asked him if he could put the vulture on it and put Grumpy Vulture. I'll have to show you a couple of the other ones I had made. I had this one in the back window of the RAV4 until it broke down. I didn't dare put it on the car. Although in Cleveland you get away about anything. Police don't stop you for anything around here. Christ, today a goddamn school bus ran the stop sign right in front of my house. It was going so fast I couldn't get the fucking numbers off of it. I was going to call and say, hey, bus number such and such just blew the stop sign. You still haven't heard? Jesus Christ, what are they doing? That's sad, Wyatt. Although I told you mine took a year. And I had, you know, I had excellent medical letters and stuff from my doctors. It still took a year. It's sad that, some people can get it like that. And then people that really need it. Another thing that really pisses me off is all these people with goddamn handicap parking permits. You see them get out of their car and it's like the guy looks as healthy as can be. Talk about an abuse. Like I told my doctor, I said, if I'm feeling all right, I don't use a handicap parking space. But if I'm feeling a little gimped up, I'll use it. But I don't abuse my permit. And some of these doctors, I think, they just hand them out. They ask a patient, hey, you want a handicap parking permit? Yeah, I'll sign the paper. Here you go. And then people that really need that handicap space, some idiots parked in it. And see, around Cleveland, they don't enforce it. They don't enforce it. I've heard some states, if you get a ticket for parking in a handicap and you don't have a permit, it's like $1,000. My cousin lives in Rhode Island. I'm going to have to ask her what the penalty is for a ticket if you're ticketed parking in a handicap spot and you don't have a permit. I'll have to email her in the morning. I haven't emailed her in a while. She probably thinks I fell off the face of the earth. But like in Cleveland, $50 fine, $100 fine, and then the police don't even bother. They don't even check. They don't care. I've reported people in the shopping centers abusing the handicap spots. All I get is, well, Cleveland Police Force is short-handed. We have to handle priority things. Well, what if you got some poor disabled person in a wheelchair that needs to get out and some 100% healthy person is parking in that spot? Well, I'll tell you what, I watch handicap spaces around here. Hey, Linda, how are ya? Good to see ya. I got a question, Linda. Do you follow KFAR? There's a method behind my question. Don't give it away, Wyatt. I'm trying to find somebody that follows KFAR. Because he follows goddamn sovereign citizens. I had something made up that I know that he would post on his channel. Would it escape? Did he get out? I know I used to have to watch my cat. Boy, he used to love to try to sneak out. Oh, okay. I'll show you. I'll show you why. I made up an Ohio sovereign citizen license plate. Except instead of having the UCC code, it says, "Law enforcement officer, arrest me." I bet you I could drive all over Cleveland with this in my car and they'd never pay any attention. Oh, I'll tell you what. My cat used to, he roomed more screens. He would push the screen until the bead popped out. And then he'd get outside. And then one night, I think an animal, a raccoon or something, scared the shit out of him. And boy, he didn't fuck with the screens anymore. But you talk about smart. He would push. And then when he saw the beads starting to come out, oh, he put his whole body against it and blow out the window. I couldn't trust him. I went to the point I had triple screening and oversized bead. I literally had to hammer into the channel just to keep him from ruining the screen. Oh, I watched him one day push against it, push, and then he saw the beads start to pop out, and then put his whole body against it. No matter what the hell I did, I couldn't keep that beading in the damn screen. I finally superglued it. Oh, it's amazing how happy they are to be back in the house. Yeah, they want to get out so bad. Then when they get out, it's like, whoa, I don't want to be out here. But sometimes getting them back in is a pain in the ass. I had to chase mine all over the neighborhood. And people are telling me, oh, he'll come home. I ain't waiting that long. I want him now. Yeah, it's amazing how intelligent they are. Like I say, he would push and push and push and push until he got a weak spot. And the one time he actually pulled the bead out. It popped out just enough. He got his claws in, pulled that bead out, and through the screen, out the window he went. So I had one window I would open. And when I put that new screen and bead in, I fucking super glued it in. I feel sorry that anybody had to replace it. They weren't getting a beating out of that track. So how you been feeling, Linda? You doing all right? Kathy said her granddaughter went to school today, a day early. She wasn't supposed to go till tomorrow. She only lasted 4 hours. And the pain was getting to her. And she had to come home. And I said, yeah, too much too fast. You know, they're 11 years old. They think they're invincible. So you doing okay? As well as to be expected, we'll say. Good. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. You just take care of yourself. We want you around for a long time. Yeah, she wasn't supposed to go till tomorrow. And I'm sure, she was driving her mother crazy. Oh, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. And 4 hours later, she was like, oh, God, I can't do this. Because, when you go back, you're right in the thick of it 100%. It's not like you can ease back into school and, when that bell rings, you gotta make it to that next class, Kathy said she came home and went right to bed. Yeah, at the end of the month, I see my pain management doctor. Him and I are going to have a long talk. A real long talk. Because this shit ain't working. Even though he only took me down 25%, it ain't working. So, him and I, because he'll come bebopping in like he always does. Hey, how are ya? I'll say, yeah, sit down, we're gonna talk. And then he'll be like, uh-oh, I know what's coming. Like I told the shrink yesterday, talk to the patient. Not everybody is the same. You can't just say, cut everybody by 50%. Talk to the patient. I know me better than you know me. Yeah, he knocked me down 25%. And I'm feeling it. I've been feeling it. Just because, they get orders from the government. Oh, you're over medicating patients. Chop them all. unless you're in this body, you don't know what's going on. You can't say, oh, we're going to cut you by 50%. Shit, he chopped me by 25%. And I can't do half the shit that I was doing before. I got a car I need to fix. I got to get my RAV4 running. I miss driving that little car. You know, when my neighbor gave it to me, I did not think I would like that thing. I looked at that and I was like, It's amazing how comfortable that thing is. I was just surprised because it's a '97 RAV4. You look at it and it looks like a little dinky. Get in that thing and get the seat adjusted. Oh man, I love driving that thing. But I got a fuel problem. I got all the parts. So, it's just that, where before, maybe I could work on that thing for 5 hours. The way I am now, I might be lucky to work on it 2 hours. And that thing's going to need a good week's worth of work because it needs all new fuel lines and everything. Oh, Jesus Christ. You know what I love? The back door. I love the whole ass end opens up. I love that. Not to mention you fold the seats all down and God, you could almost sleep in that thing. But when Marianne moved to Georgia, it's got 210,000 miles on it. She didn't think it would make it. So she said, it's yours. I'll give it to you. I looked at that thing and went, ain't gonna be too comfy. I'll feel like a sardine in it. And then the first time I drove it, I was amazed. It's an optical illusion. You look at it and it looks tiny, but when you get in it, they really laid the ergonomics out in that thing. And then I blew a fuel line on it. What was it, last October? And the weather was against me. So right now, there's a box of parts sitting on the front seat. But I'm going to need at least like 3.5 days. And I'm not going to be able to put, 4, 5, 6 hours in. Not the way I am now. I'll get it running sooner or later, but it's going to take me twice as long now. I'll tell you, it's economical as hell. Plus, it's a manual. Thank God. Because I love my stick shift. And just zippy as hell. Plus, if I need it, it's got 4-wheel drive. Now, thank God the winter was mild this year and I didn't need a four-wheel drive. But that's one reason I got to get it going. I always have two vehicles. I always. In case one goes down, thank God my Nissan pickup has been a great, reliable vehicle. Even though every time I slam a door, another piece of the body falls off of it, but you like the swapped out background? I brought back the background I called my studio. I like this one. Looks like everybody could just sit back on that couch and we could all chat. Because there's even a coffee table. There's a coffee table, a chair over here, 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 here. I hate these cameras. A chair over here, a couch with nice pillows on it. Well, I'll tell you, the first winter we had an ice storm and vehicles were getting stuck everywhere. As a matter of fact, the FedEx truck was stuck up that end of the street and a UPS truck was stuck this end of the street. And I put that thing in four-wheel drive and I drove right past everybody. I could have probably climbed the side of a building. It was amazing. I said, oh, thank God I have this. And like I say, thank God we had a very mild winter this year and I didn't need a four-wheel drive. It figures. Linda, I put 4 brand new tires on it. 2 weeks later, it blows a fuel line, and then the fuel pump quit working. My luck. So, I put the fuel pump in. I've got all the fuel line and a brand new fuel pump relay. I got everything. It's just, I got to lay underneath it, run all the new lines, bleed everything, and then I'll have it going again. Because I have to do some work on the Nissan. So, gotta get the little Rav running. And maybe I can work a deal with my neighbor's son across the street and get that Volkswagen Passat. Because that's a manual too. Oh. She had something to take care of. She said she'll be back. Yeah, she was here. But she said, I got to take care of something, so. And she said she'd be back. I'm worried about Jenny. It's been 7 days now. I keep forgetting to email her. I'm getting worried about her. Because, she's going through some pretty tough time right now. And I'm concerned. I got to put all brand new fuel lines on it. The fuel lines rotted out. And then the fuel pump went, but I've got the new fuel pump in it. and I've got all the new fuel line. So all I got to do is get underneath. That stuff's all got to be mounted to the frame rails, and it's got to be run up to the engine. And then you got that stupid return line, but I've got it all. All I have to do is get the time. Well, I got the time, it's just when the goddamn medication not working 100%, I can't spend a couple hours underneath that thing on my back, Christ, I even went out and bought a new jack stands, and a nice creeper. Yeah, possibility. Possibility. But he's getting his 3 squares and probably doing roll call at the jail at night. That'd be hilarious. Him doing roll call in prison. We know his internet days are gone. And JJ, he like fell off the face of the earth, man. Oh, oh, Linda, sometime it feels like in the middle of the night, which really pisses me off. It feels like somebody poured gasoline on my feet and set them on fire. I can't stand to even have a sheet touching my skin. That's another thing I talked to my doctor about. That shit wasn't happening before. God, 2 nights ago, I was like, holy shit. It feels like during fire. And I never had that problem. So I know the goddamn medication ain't fully working. So like I say, me and my pain management doctor here have a long talk. I see him on the 27th. And I'll be there with bells on. It's a crock of bullshit. You no sooner have a decent way of life, and then the government's got to step in and screw you over. I bought something yesterday I have never tried before. I'm not a big person for frozen pizza. I bought one of those DiGiorno rising crust pizzas. I'm going to make it tonight. I hope it tastes at least close to pizza shop pizza. Because I've never been a big never been a big fan of frozen. Most frozen pizzas taste like cardboard with ketchup on them. So I got my fingers crossed. This one's gonna. Either way, I'm gonna eat it. I don't waste food. my friend was telling me, he says, oh, it's pretty good. I said, well, I said, pretty good. I said, you think Little Caesars is good? If this thing tastes anything like a Little Caesars pizza, I'm going to be really disappointed. I had a taste for pizza, and this thing was on sale. I says, well, I'll try it. Self-rising crust. And you bake it right on the rack. It says, put it directly on the rack. Okay. It better not burn. I've never baked a pizza directly on the oven rack. But it says in the instructions, no pan, nothing. Put it right on the rack. Okay, I will. And if it turns out alright, while they're still on sale, I'll go buy another one. If it don't, I'm going to be pissed. Especially not having pizza. God, I haven't had a pizza from the pizza shop in about 6 months. I used to get at least one a month. That would be my treat. I'd get my Social Security check and go, oh boy, I can order a pizza. Boy, that's sad to live that way. Celebrate by ordering a pizza. Back in the day, I'd celebrate by ordering a porterhouse steak at a restaurant. Well, you know, he took that blind plea. Which was stupid. Because after he agreed to the blind plea, the prosecutor hit the enhancement. Prior felony. Oh. I hope that I want to see him go on trial for Donald Atwater Cameron. I want to see him go on trial for that. These theft felonies are bullshit. I just hope the prosecutor don't say, well, you know, he's in prison. No. He needs to pay for that one. And them prosecutors down there better take care of that. Because I know she'll be pushing now. I could guarantee she's pushing behind the scenes right now. Like I say, this theft felony bullshit is nothing. He needs to get tried for that murder case. It's what, you know, what's he going to get? 20 years? 20 years ain't nothing. He needs to get tried for the murder. See, the good thing is the Good Old Boy network is gone down there. His father can't do shit anymore. So it's time to pay the piper. He's gotten away with it for so long. You know, he got cocky. Oh, they'll never try me for that murder. So that prosecutor better not say, oh, well, he's in prison anyway. No need. Yeah, there's a need. Do you go see a separate pain management doctor, Linda? See, I've got separate doctors for everything. Yeah, I got my primary care, I got my shrink, I got my ENT, I got my pain management. I got separate doctors for everything. So a lot of times, depending on what medical system you're with, you know, they're like, well, we'll handle that. Well, if you're not trained in it, you can't handle it. You know, that's like having an infected toenail and they send you to an optometrist, you know. Okay, my mouse pointer disappeared. Oh, there it is. She was just asking about you, Kathy. I said you'd be back. Yeah, Linda was worried about you. I said she was here. She had something to take care of. See, we worry when people aren't around. Now all we gotta do is find out what's going on with Jenny. It's been 7 days now. Does he eat it on TV? No. Yeah. Cold pizza ain't bad in the morning after a hangover, but to do a complete diet, who's who's Wingspan? I don't know who that is. Who's Wingspan? Gee, that don't sound good. Not somebody I know. No, don't know who that is, Kathy. Not somebody I'd follow. thought last night you told me I had 92 subscribers. This morning it said 90. Two of them must have give up that fast. Yeah, I went in to check this morning. It said 90. Got it, 92. At least I was 8 away from 100. Now I'm 10 away from 100. We gotta get to that 100 point. Jeez. I don't know who that is, Linda, but I hope we can find out what's going on. Yeah, 2 people gave up on me that fast. They were like, that's it. I didn't even get to see the 92. That's what really hurt. I go in this morning, it says 90. People subscribe and then unsubscribe at the end of the stream. I'm done. Here I was thinking, well, oh man, that sounds serious. Ooh, got that bad and had to call an ambulance? Ooh, that don't sound good. I hope she comes around. I don't like hearing bad news like that. Especially serious enough where I have to call an ambulance. Oh boy. Oh, Jesus Christ. Whoa. That is scary. Oh my God. Oh, definitely. Well, Kathy, she definitely got a case. Linda, you don't have a primary right now? Wow. Well, if you guys can get in touch with her, tell her she got somebody that's concerned about her, somebody she don't know. That's scary. I hope she gets better. I really do. That is scary. Oh my God. Yeah, I hope she comes out of it. Even though I don't know her, I'll be thinking about her. That is scary. Fingers crossed, man. What the hell were... Would the goddamn EMS crew ignore... She's trying to point out her allergies and they ignored it? Jesus. God, you can't even trust the goddamn EMS people to save your goddamn life. Instead, they kill you. You know, I always wonder about that. How many people in an ambulance end up a whoops? And then it gets all covered up and hushed up. Yeah, I hope she has the proof, because that is bullshit. It sounds like they just ignored everything she was telling them. Oh, we know better. No, you don't. "12 chickens, 4 turkeys, 2 billy goats, and a partridge in a pear tree." "12 chickens, 4 turkeys, and 2 goats. Billy goats on top of it. Oh, I love little kids. Isn't that what they call baby goats? Kids? They're adorable. "12 chickens, 4 turkeys, 2 billy goats, and a partridge in a pear tree." What? I quit following Chris Ryder. All to me, it seemed like he was causing himself more problems. Yeah, see, I've never seen her in Stone Bet's Chat or Hill Pirates. Although I don't go into Hill Pirate too much. I haven't been following, like Stone Bed. I popped in the other day. It was the first time in a while. And I pop in and he said, geez, where you been? I've been worried about you. Which I appreciated hearing. I was a regular with him for, hell, I gave him that microphone he's using. He couldn't believe it. His mic was going bad, and I said, give me your address. I'll send you a brand new one. He was like, what? I said, I'll send you a brand new one. Give me your address. And then I sent it to him. Yeah, we'll get there. At least we're at 90 now. God, we were at 86 forever. I was like, geez. That's all right. One at a time. I appreciate every single one. I'm not greedy. Yeah, it would be nice to have 100,000, but I take what I get, and I appreciate every single one. I'm not like some people that go out and buy them. They can't afford to buy a subscriber. I look at it, the ones that I have are loyal, and they're true subscribers. So, every single one I appreciate the hell out of. So, we'll make it to 100. Just have to delay the party a little longer, but that's okay. So where are all these animals being kept? In your backyard, Kathy? Two little billy goats running around, butting heads with one another. There was I was watching something. It was over in England. And this guy had goats. And he had like 10 little kids. And it was hilarious watching them hop around and jump. They would jump up on a stump and one would knock the other one off. And oh, yes. Yes. It's hanging right over there. It's all set to go. Yes. My costume is ready to go. Believe me, it won't come close to Scotto, but it's ready to go. Oh, okay. At least you go get to visit them. They're so cute to watch, little kids. Yeah, put it this way. I've got 90% of the costume. I'm trying to. I need an accent piece, but I've got most of it hanging right on that door, right there, that you can't see until Mayoween. but it's right there on that door. No, that door. I hate these cameras. That door. It's on that door. Because it had wrinkles in it when I took it out of the package. So I had to get the wrinkles out. Now the wrinkles are all out. It looks cool now. The other day when my son took a shower, I hung it in the bathroom, and the steam took the rest of the wrinkles out of the cushion. But I need accent. Oh, Scott, he'll be surprised. I'll get a good laugh out of Scotto, I know that. But he, hands down, in a costume contest, he would win every time. He is just fantastic when it comes to that stuff. But he'll get a kick out of it. I know it. And she told me she'll drop a link so I can come up. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how long she'll keep me up, but I'm looking forward to whatever time I spend on her stream. Now that I got figured out how to do it. Click the link, turn the volume off. Then I have to plug these headphones into the computer so I hear. I got it all figured out. Scotto gave me step-by-step instructions. God bless him. He told me how to do it. I'm ready. Are we going to get a report as to how she's doing? Is somebody going to check? I'm interested now. I'm concerned, so we got to hear how she's doing. And somebody can pass on my wishes for a speedy recovery to her, too. Yeah, Linda, I don't even know where I'm concerned. That's some scary shit. This light kind of. Well, peoples, I think it's about that time. I have to preheat the oven. So we will meet again tomorrow night, and hopefully we have some news. Somebody got to give me some news as to how she's doing. We know where, right here, WDWL TV. Yeah, if somebody can find out, give me some update tomorrow. And with that, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your evening. Stay safe and healthy. And we will meet again tomorrow night. And with that, take care and see ya. Take two. Oh, this damn